once you've decided that you want the best, first thing I'd say is wake up early, win the morning.
Welcome to the Spartan Up podcast with Joe Sena, founder and CEO of Spartan Race.
We are talking about overcoming obstacles. The same way we teach people to get over obstacles on the course, we will teach you here on the Spartan Up podcast to get over obstacles in your mind.
This episode of Spartan Up is presented by Mud Gear. When battling brutal Spartan obstacles over a mixture of muddy miles and tough terrain, starting off on the right foot means any foot protected by the lasting comfort and proven durability of Mud Gear socks, made right here in the USA. Gear up today at mudgear.com to thrive in your next race.
Joe Sena here, CEO and founder of Spartan. I got a big one for you today. I got a member of the British military. This guy is a machine, and I'm laughing because when I got briefed on Jack, you're going to meet Jack Jarvis. I was told he entered the military at 60 years old, and I thought, oh my God, there's hope for me yet. And so when you came on the screen, I was like, man, he looks young for 60. Oh, it must be his assistant. But you entered at 16 years old.
Yeah, 16 years old, straight from school. And then after my initial time in the engineers, a little bit different to the US military. It's not like a tab, it's a corps that we join. And then once I finished all that engineer training, you get a load of choices, whether you want to go do the All Arms Commando course, serve with Royal Marines, or All Arms P Company, serve with a parachute regiment, or go to another non-specialist unit. And I volunteered for the Commandos, partly due to choice, but also because my dad or my godfathers were in the Commandos. So if I ever wanted to sit around the dinner table with them and have a beer with them, I knew I had no choice but to go and do the All Arms Commando course. So yeah, I did that when I was 18 and been loving it, cutting around, going all around the world ever since. Yeah, I'm still in the military now.
So you just triggered something for me. I've been talking a lot about this idea that, do you need college? Don't you need college? My 17-year-old going the traditional way, going to college. And as I listen to you, I'm thinking, listen, I guess if you're 15 or 16 years old and you own a business already, or you're going into the military like you did, I can get my head around not going to college because you're gonna level up, right? You probably learned a ton about responsibility and you just got set on a trajectory for life.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've been thinking because I'm actually leaving the military this year. 21st of July is my last day of service, so 12 and a half years. And, writing a CV and you sort of think, well, the military's not sort of taught me anything. And I'm like, but then you actually think about it and those core values, that accountability, teamwork, communication, discipline, which is huge. You can be the smartest person in the world, you have the most money, but if you don't turn up on time, that says a lot about your character. If you miss meetings, and everyone misses meetings and stuff like that, but to have that discipline, to be present, to be on time, that costs you absolutely nothing. And I think that's such a huge thing. Not only that, you get to go around all the world, speak to and meet all these amazing people. So yeah, it's certainly, and it gave me the confidence. I'm sure we'll talk later about, going on expeditions. So yeah, I certainly recommend to any young lad or lass that's maybe not sold on the whole college thing to definitely consider the military, 100%.
It's amazing. And 12 and a half years. So when you retire, coming up soon, when do you retire?
21st of July, not retiring. Okay, Joe, let's, I'm not 29, not out. And I'm looking for employment. So if anyone's got any jobs going, no, what am I going to go into? And this is another thing. It's given me the confidence to, I don't know what I want to go into yet. I want to go into something I enjoy, something that challenges me. Because I'm not shy of a challenge, Joe, as I'm sure you know. But yeah, I'm really excited for this next chapter in my life, mate. I love it. So it wasn't enough, though, the military. It got you fired up to take on some incredible endurance challenges. Tell us, what'd you do? You did like 20, 30 minutes of jump rope. What was it that was really tiring? Yeah, so I basically broke the world record for the most baked beans eaten in an hour. No, I'm joking. No, so this military, I probably should give some backstory. So did the All Arms Commando course. So always wanted a little bit more. I've always wanted to push myself, and then I got onto the sport of ocean rowing. A friend of mine rowed in the Talisker Whiskey Atlantic Challenge. And when he gave this presentation at our unit, I was inspired. I loved the jeopardy of it, the sense of adventure. And then I started sort of asking around, and you learn more about the ocean rowing. And I was like, right, well, I'm going to take part in that race. And it's a very big race. And I was sort of going around, and then someone said something to me, Joe, and they said, oh, that race, the Talisker, is that what that 70-year-old did? And I was like, oh, this guy couldn't do a Spartan race, couldn't run a bath, let alone run to the shops and get a newspaper and a pint of milk, right? And I was thinking, so I should have just ignored it. I should have blocked out, that external noise, but I couldn't. He kept nagging away at me. This guy said, so I said, all right. So I got onto the Ocean Rowing Society, and I said, and it's headed up by a guy called Chris Martin, not the lead singer of Coldplay. I said, Chris, what's never been done? What ocean's never been rowed? He said, well, no one's gone from mainland Europe to mainland North America, non-stop, solo, unsupported. So, a guy had gone, stopped in the Canaries, had sort of 3 weeks off, then gone across. I don't actually think he made it, but I know. Oh yeah, no, he did. He got to Florida, but no one had gone mainland to mainland. And I said, 6 billion people on the planet. I was like, yeah, sign me up. I'm in. And that started an 18-month training and planning matrix. And then, on the 3rd of December 2021, when we were sort of getting the second round of COVID, I was like, right, it's time for me to push off. So I pushed off in my 7-meter boat, and 111 days later, I made it to a place called Stewart in Florida, just up the coast from West Palm Beach. I was successful, got the Guinness World Record, and that was me, mate, the first person to row from mainland Europe to mainland North America. And Joe, and that is a very condensed version, but that is what I did, mate.
You were able to get off the military or they allowed you for 111 days to do something crazy like this?
Yeah, so what the military did, so I actually took a career break. So I took an unpaid career break to do it. But I was happy to make that sacrifice. Didn't get paid for 5 months because that's how long my break was for. But I needed something more in life, Joe. I couldn't tick along. One of the big reasons, I'm sure we'll explore this. Have you ever had days where you finish the day and you think, if I'd have stayed in bed this morning, what bit of difference would it have made? Would anyone have noticed? What effect have I delivered today? And I just had one of those days, and maybe another one of those days on the bounce. I said, no, this isn't for me. I said, I need more. I can't sit here and waste away and not succeed and not do something meaningful and do something incredible. That's sort of why I did the row.
You did it at a perfect time with COVID going on and people, stuck at home. It was a great time to train for that. It was the perfect moment.
Yeah, it was that in the training way was great. But when we come to the finances, like a lot of people don't realise. So before I could raise any money for charity, so I raised £70,000 for Brains Trust, brain tumour charity based in the UK because my grandfather passed away with brain tumour. I had to raise £85,000 to buy the boat, fill it with food, fill it with safety equipment, conduct the training. Just towing the boat around, I spent nearly, I think, £1,500 in fuel. So all these costs add up. And in COVID, everyone, companies, if they had money, they didn't want to spend it, and a lot of companies didn't have money. So it was a double-edged sword. Yeah, it was good to train, but it was very tough to get the funds together. That whole corporate sponsorship side, and you said about your son, joining the military potentially instead of going to college. Well, I look at my row. I managed a project from zero, from an idea in a head, to £85,000 all the logistics of getting the boat to Portugal, getting it back from America. You know, I managed that project from conception to execution, and yeah, what better experience than learning hands-on rather than in a classroom or in a lecture theatre.
You were alone in the boat. How'd that feel for 111 days?
The body's amazing, Joe. And I mean, Joe, I've actually got a random question. Sorry, I wanted to ask you this at the start. Have you got your kettlebell with you?
I do, but not in the room I'm in right now.
No, mate, that's awesome, mate. I love that, man. I love that.
Did you have a kettlebell on the boat?
No, I had a Wilson volleyball that the boys got me from work. They all signed it, you know. But it was a bit of an annoying. I've got to be honest. That just bounced. You're trying to get your sleep. I had to wedge it because it would just roll around, bouncing around. I was like, it's almost like the lads knew, let's get him something really annoying that's going to annoy him for 111 days. But Joe, going back to your earlier comment, the body's amazing, isn't it? It's absolutely incredible. And this is why, does it frustrate you when you see, and I'm guessing a big reason, well, I know a big reason to start the Spartan race is to inspire people, to get people going, because they don't know what they're capable of, you know?
It's absolutely the reason. And it drives me crazy when people are not pushing their limits. So when you were out there, 100 days in, and you're seeing your body heal and get stronger, and you're not watching TV and doing all the bullshit recovery, you're like, how did we not use this thing more that we have, this gift?
Yeah. And that's how I wanted to inspire people. So to answer your question, after about 5 days, your first 5 days are tough. You know, your hands are sore, your back's sore, your arse is sore, it's covered, it's been, really abrased. You're lonely, you're sleep deprived. But after that first 5 days, 7 days a week, you just settle into it and you're used to the loneliness. Your hands just callous up, they just get tough. Your arse stops to chafe. It's bizarre. Your back doesn't hurt. People are like, how did you row for 14 hours a day? And I just said, you just do. My mum hates it when I say this, but I would have rather died on that boat or perished at sea than failed, because I didn't want to let anyone down and I didn't want to prove anyone right. And your body just adapts to the lack of sleep and to the 14 hours, and you just do. You've got a mission, you've got a task, and as well, it's pretty crap. So instead of taking any days off, Joe, I thought, well, I'm stuck here. I might as well get on that oar and row and give it Mach 10 and try and get to the other side so we can enjoy a Corona and some of that famous American hospitality. So yeah, it was awesome.
This is a question that's always been bugging me on these rows. When you take a nap, how do you lock the boat in so you don't go backwards?
So that sometimes happens, unfortunately. So it's a bit of a guessing game. So if you're rowing hard into the wind, you'll deploy your parachute anchor, and that will hold you roughly where you are, unless the currents move, and then that whole body of water will push you back. But if you're rowing and the wind's with you, you go, or if it's like light, you'll go, okay, we probably don't have to put the parachute anchor up. It's probably about, 30 hours to deploy, 30 minutes to deploy it, 30 minutes to bring it back in. So you might take that risk, you might go a mile the right direction, you might go a mile back. But sometimes if you get it wrong, you can end up 6 miles back in the wrong direction if the wind, you go to sleep an hour later, the wind changes. And people ask, how do you keep going? It's just about how you frame your mindset, Joe. I volunteered to be there. I worked bloody hard to get there. Like I said, 18 months of, a lot of times, Joe, I'd go into meetings knowing full well that the company wouldn't give me a penny, wouldn't give me a dime. But, it's just about that relentless persistence. Persistence beats resistance. You wake up, you've gone 6 miles back. What are you going to do? Sit in your cabin and cry? And go another 6 miles back? No. Get out of the oars and change it. That was yesterday. Put that to bed. You're here and now. Get out there and change. You're the master of your own fate, and that's how you've got to be. I mean, yeah, it's annoying, but a lot of things in life are annoying. Margot Robbie's not my girlfriend. That's annoying. Am I right, Joe?
Is she your favorite?
She's got to be out there, hasn't she, Joe? She's not She's not bad looking. She's very easy on the eye. That Aussie accent as well.
I think you probably could have rode to Australia if she was willing to sit down and have breakfast with you.
Hey, Margot, if you're listening to this, I'm more than happy. Okay, I'll get in the boat. I'll make it happen in a week. All right, and I'll start rowing. It may take me a fair while, but I will make it happen if you agree.
Mudgear started equipping Spartans over 10 years ago, and since then, they've perfected the art of protecting your most valuable race day assets. From the way they fit, to the way they wick and drain moisture, to their strategic cushioning and venting, Mudgear socks are a must for any Spartan hoping to not just survive, but dominate the course. Endure longer and race stronger with Mudgear socks that are made tougher, just like you. Shop Mudgear at the Spartan store, at your next Spartan race, or right now at mudgear.com.
What do you think you're going to do when you're out of the military?
So that's a brilliant question. I've eyed up a few opportunities off the back of the row. I'm really keen to help people, Joe. I'm a big believer in if you do something you love, you never work a day in your life. Like you, for instance, you must love what you do. It seems like you love what you do from all your content. I've watched it, and you deliver a great product. You know, I'm not just kissing your ass because you're here. I've done a Spartan run down in Queen Elizabeth Park, East London. No, sorry, the Olympic Park. Yeah. So you know, you love what you do. I'm not motivated by money. I'm motivated by, I don't know. Good question. You know, I love that. I love proving people wrong. When people go, oh, you know, you can't do that. It's impossible. Well, it's only impossible because no one's done it yet. That's honestly how I look at every task. So, yeah, I'd like to go into coaching and try and inspire people and allow myself to have the freedom to do more challenges, to keep pushing myself, because my life had so much purpose when I was planning the row, doing the row, and I woke up every day and I had a goal and it was all on me. And the question I get asked is, you know, team down, why did you do it solo? Because I enjoyed that element of it all being on me. You know, if something didn't happen, it was because of me. It's much better. I preferred it to be that way rather than relying on other people that you can't rely on as such. So I'd like to try and inspire people, get them to, you know, not be afraid of stuff, and do some more challenges for sure. I mean, Joe, I don't know what your plans are next summer, but if you fancy rowing the Indian Ocean, mate, I'm trying to put a team together or a pair, mate.
That sounds awesome. I'm sitting here thinking, man, I got to sit and do emails every day. I got to deal with the nonsense of business. We do inspire a lot of people, so that's awesome. But how much better would it be to be in a boat and rowing, right, and dealing with the ocean?
Picture it now, okay? So no one's rowed mainland Australia to mainland Africa, okay? But it's proper dicey, so I think it's going to be up your street. A little bit of danger, a little bit of spice, you know? So the reason, so the geography, so the Atlantic is quite predictable in its weather systems, okay? The Indian Ocean isn't, okay? And it's very undulating, so you might have 500 meters of water that goes down to 5,000 meters of water. So that creates a lot of movement. You know, that water that's down here has got to go up here. Where's it going to go? It's going to go up. And also, by the time you get about halfway, that is the only time you're actually going to know where you're going to finish. So whether you're going to go north or south of Madagascar. So if you go south into South Africa, nice big finish, flares, me and you know, arm around each other, flares up. But if we go north, you've got to be really careful because pirates actually become a real life consideration there. Let me know. I'll give you my email after this. I think your team have already got it, but I can picture it already. I think you'd look mighty fine with a big old bushy beard as well.
I love it. I'd love to battle the pirates with you. That could be fun.
Well, so let me tell you, you know, I heard about a team rowing and they saw they heard a craft and they were like sort of thinking on their feet, oh, Christ, we've got pirates incoming. So they got the radio and they went, yep, HMS Albion, this is experimental craft 1. Tests, gunfire tests finished. We will await your pickup. Can you confirm HMS Albion? They got back on the net, confirmed it, or something along those lines, and the fast boat sort of shut off. But I love that, having that cool, calm, collective thought process in a very high risk, high pressure situation. That's absolutely amazing. I love stuff like that. So it inspires me rather than puts me off.
Give me 3 things that everybody should do. I mean, most people, like you said, there's no one that did the row that you did. There's no one that took it from the Indian Ocean to Africa. So most people, not yet, most people, they just don't do it. They just don't get up early enough. They don't follow through with their commitments. They want to get it done. So give me 3 things the average person should be doing to just, I don't know, level up.
Brilliant question. So firstly, before I go into the 3 things, you got to want it. And a brilliant quote I like from, the film 300, Gerard Butler. Really good shape. You heard of that, seen that one? Yeah. Really making us look.
I know that one. Yes.
And he says when they've been betrayed, and he says, will you live forever? To this guy, basically, none of us are going to live forever. So what are you going to be remembered for? Sit down. If you're happy to be average and not remembered, that's fine. That is absolutely fine. I'm a big believer, live the life the way you want, but it's not for me. Okay. I want more. I want the best for me. So once you've decided that you want the best, first thing I'd say is wake up early, win the morning. So take me, for instance, this morning, went out, ran a half marathon. Nothing, I've not said that to, look at me, I'm this Goggins type. But I've gone out, I've trained, I've got up I've done my activity for the day by 7:30. Even if I have an absolute car crash of a day, right? Everything goes wrong. The dog poos in the living room, kids sick on me before I go to work.
Margot doesn't come home.
Joe doesn't turn up for this podcast. All right, he says, "Nah, I don't want to interview this guy. He's boring." I've still done something. It's like that Navy SEAL captain. Make your bed. So make your bed. Go out for your run. Go to the gym. At least you've then achieved something. You're already on a winner's, on a war footing. You've had 1 win. And you've made your bed, so there's 2 wins. And brush your teeth as well. Great hygiene. Okay, so there's 3 wins. Okay, so that's my first one. Win the morning. Second one is be disciplined. Yeah? Be disciplined. Set that goal. Okay? If you're big, scary, don't worry. So I want to do a 24-hour swim this year for charity. And I'm an awful swimmer, Joe. I swim like a gorilla pushing a breeze block through the water. Okay? Picture that in your head. That's what I swim like. But, I'm disciplined. The only way I'm going to achieve that goal is by doing the sessions that I don't like, getting in the pool, doing those early morning swims, listening to, my coach. Okay. So win the morning, be disciplined. That list, my third bit of advice, get some help. Rome wasn't built in a day and it wasn't built by one person. Joe, do you Spartan Race? How many people work for you?
600, too many. That's a lot.
Okay, maybe it doesn't fit. Maybe it doesn't fit that. But get some help. You couldn't do it on your own, no?
Yeah. Couldn't do it on my own. No way to build a business or do anything great, build a family. You can't do it alone. Yeah, you'll appreciate this. I was giving a speech to Delta, which obviously doesn't exist. And
I've tape over their eyes, yeah.
The operators at the end said, "Mr. Sena, we believe in the principles. Everything you said makes sense, except where's community? Nobody does anything great alone." And I said, damn it, I missed that in my speech. I missed it in the book. I'm going to have to edit the book because, I was a single sport kid, right? I raced BMX. I did skiing. I didn't have that military experience that you had. I didn't have that team experience. And you're absolutely right. You can't. Somebody said to me yesterday something great too. They said, think about folks that work for us that give pushback. I bet you if we overlay the ones that did team sports, right, you'd find out that the ones that are just kind of like, got the message, let me get to work, they probably understand the power of team, the power of doing stuff together. and the others probably don't have that background that you're describing. So nobody does anything alone.
No,
Nobody does anything great alone.
No, those would be my big three things. Win the morning, be disciplined. Okay, and discipline, people seem to be scared of that word. Right? I don't mean be disciplined like, right, divorce your family, leave your wife and kids, go live in the mountains, and run 30 miles every day. But just little disciplines. Get out, go for that 4-mile run. If you're on a diet, don't have the discipline not to buy biscuits. So then that makes the discipline of not eating them a hell of a lot easier, Joe. And then, get expert advice. One of the best things I did for the row was getting some great coaches, a guy called Gus Barton, coached me for the row, fantastic, knows the ins and outs of strength and conditioning. I've got a new coach now. I'm on the Hard to Kill program for my swim. Absolutely excellent. So yeah, get help, get help. Don't be too proud to ask for help, because it doesn't mean you're weak. It doesn't mean any less of the achievement. Do you think I got to the end of the row or the end of the ultra marathon I did and thought, it's a little bit tainted this, I had coaching. No, of course not. Look at Olympians, look at world champion boxers, all have help. So yeah, those would be my three best bits of advice.
I love it. You and I are so aligned. When you get out, you got to give me a call, send me an email. I could use some help. Maybe I could go for a row and you could run the company for a while.
Joe, sign me up. All right. Like I said, great communicator. Okay. No, I knew this. I've got my flip charts here. I was like, if Joe gives me an opening, I'm going to exploit it. No, Joe, definitely, I'd love to work in the Spartan. What's next? I want to know what's next for the Spartan race.
We have to dig our way. There's a lot of carnage from COVID, so
yeah,
we were shut down for a long time. It's just still a mess. But coming out of it, my vision, if I could snap my fingers and do anything, is to be the house of hard. Right, the same way the military has the Navy, the Marines, the Air Force, the Army. We have, DECA, Tough Mudder, Spartan, endurance races, Highlander. So most of the commercial entities around the world are selling people, a simpler life, an easier, a supposedly easier life, less effort. We went from 30-minute abs to 10-minute abs to 5-minute abs because people don't want to. So most things commercialized are selling you easier, unhealthier, faster. And outside of the military, there's very few of us that are selling harder, more disciplined, bigger commitment, pain, suffering. But so I want to be the house of that.
Yeah. Joe, and it's interesting you say it because it's creeping into the military. I hate that lazy, find the easy way. I'm a big believer, iron forges iron and hardship. So when I was on the All Arms, we used to do a thing called Hell Week. And it used to consist of, you won't know, this just a place in North Devon, Ashbarton Hill Reps, a mud run, a Burrows Beast, so big sand dunes. And you do I've done multiple difficult things. My dive, so I was a military diver as well, that ad cell was absolutely disgusting. You can fall asleep whilst effectively scuba diving underwater. Trust me, I'll speak from experience. You can fall asleep when you're marching as well, walking. But you do these hard things and it just prepares you for rowing the Atlantic. I did the Atacama crossing as well, because you've been tested. You haven't broken. Like, these hard things add so much to your life. And I don't understand now why in modern society we shy away from it so much, to the point where it's gotten so easy. If you want a takeaway or a Domino's, you don't even have to go to the kitchen to get the takeaway menu because it's in your hand. It's on Deliveroo. It's so soft. And I look at, other people and my little brother as well. Like, I love my little brother, but he's had it, and he's only 10 years younger than me. He's had it easier than me, and I just think, you need that bit of hardship, because when life tests you, you've already been tested. Because life's going to throw the hardest challenges at you you're going to face, and you need to know mentally up here you're not going to break. You're going to bend and come back stronger.
I'm twice your age. I'm starting to think that you know every line I know. I love it.
Probably because we follow a lot of the same people, read the same books.
Maybe.
Just get after
Maybe.
it.
Yeah. But also, I think it comes from, I did a lot of crazy stuff in my time. And I think when you have those moments and you're out there and you're alone and you're exhausted and you're falling asleep, whether you're diving or biking or marching, what we're talking about comes into focus. It becomes really clear that in the modern world, we have it wrong.
Yeah.
Right? I think that's it almost jumps off the page when you're out there doing this stuff, because you feel so alive, you feel so good. And you could look back at your regular life and realize how mundane it is. And that's why people that come out and do a Mutter or a Spartan or whatever it is we offer, you're always shocked and say, oh my God, that guy is back with his wife. They stopped drinking. They're no longer doing drugs. Guy didn't shoot himself. He was considering suicide. Like, because when you're doing those hard things, everything comes into focus. Anyway,
I totally agree. And here's one for you, right? So to raise money, so you like this, mate. So I had no corporate experience, so I was going to companies, Joe, and everyone's just saying, yeah, it's a brilliant idea, mate, but you are literally a guy with an idea and you've got £5,000 in your bank account. Your boat costs 42 grand. It's never going to happen. So I sat down, I was like, right, what do I know? What's military told me? I said, it's made me determined, tenacious. Some might say a stubborn little bastard. So I said, right, what can I do? I said, right, I'm going to run a marathon and raise money that way. And then I thought, no one's going to spot. I'm looking to row the Atlantic here, Joe. So what can I do that's special? So I ran a marathon up this mountain, a 4-mile loop. But I did it carrying a rowing machine. Right? And I did it. I did fully made up. So I didn't collapse it, get it into a bag. It was fully like you could jump on it. It was perfectly working. And people were like, why have you done that? I said, because I needed to do something unique to jump on the page, but also, and I thought about this while I was going around to try and take my mind off the excruciating shoulder pain that I was going through. No matter how much money you earn, Joe, you cannot buy the feat of completing a marathon while carrying a Concept 2 rowing machine. You can buy a Rolex, but guess what? Someone else can buy that Rolex. You can't buy that. You can't buy that sense of achievement I got after 11 hours on the hoof in North Lancashire doing that. So yeah, that was quite funny. I got some funny looks that day as well from the people going just on a nice country stroll.
You got to come end of June if you have time. Come to the farm in Vermont. You might not 100%. Be allowed. I don't know where you'll be, but put that down in your calendar. End of June, we got Death Race. End of June, beginning of July. This year, we're going to tie it in with Norwich University, which is a 200-year-old military university, right up the street from the farm. So try to fit that in if you can. Yeah, you're 100%. Awesome. I could
tell me more about the Death Race, because I'm sure to a few people that scares them, but to me, it sounds like a ballsy claim, Joe. I want to hear more about it.
Death Race. The idea was all these races we do in life, these organized events, they're basically catered training days, right? We've got food every 2 miles. We've got water. We've got medical. And so I said, let's create a race that emulates life, that's punches you in the face, that lies to you. You don't know when it starts. You don't know when it ends. And Death Race was born on the farm in Vermont, and it became a thing. New York Times did a story about it. It was really the predecessor for what became Spartan. So every year on the farm, end of June, we hold this crazy race. Most people quit. It would be your equivalent of, that Hell Week, right? Those final days. I went and did the Brecon Beacons. I did that course once. And so maybe that's the end of
the fan dance. So
yeah, the fan dance, fun event.
Yeah, it is cool. It's very cool.
So that's it in a nutshell. It's near and dear to my heart. I love putting on the event. I'm putting on Winter Death Race here in the next few days in Vermont.
Of course you are.
But anyway, you're invited when you get out. Love to meet you, or maybe even before. How do people find you?
So I'm on Instagram, Jack Jarvis official, same as Twitter. Also, Instagram and Twitter, and I'm on TikTok as well, Jack Jarvis official. Follow for basically me cutting about, looking well tasty, and getting after it whenever I can. I'm looking forward to this death race, Joe. Big fan of that.
Death race. By the way, I think Margot's coming.
Is she?
This year? Yeah, she's coming.
Well, I'll have to get a haircut, Joe, if she's going to be there, you know.
You're the man.
Oh, mate, Joe, absolute pleasure, man.
When battling brutal Spartan obstacles over a mixture of muddy miles and tough terrain, starting off on the right foot means any foot protected by the lasting comfort and proven durability of Mudgear socks, made right here in the USA. Gear up today at mudgear.com to thrive in your next race.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Spartan Up Podcast.